In today's discussion, we'll be exploring a form of therapy that not many people subscribe to or even associate to grief and loss. But this one is a powerful and proven method. Coping with grief and managing stress can happen in all forms for many people. Some people cope by having conversations and with community, but others may choose to do it in another format, possibly with nature, and even with communing with animals. In today's episode, we'll be talking about therapy that associates our healing process with horses. And welcome our guest today, Mr. Brandt Kingsley. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh man, I hear the loud studio applause. What's up, everybody, man? Good afternoon, Miss Mona. It's an honor to be here with you today.
It's an honor to have you here. Thank you so much. We are super excited about getting into this topic. It's not one that's traditional when we think about healing and therapy, behavioral modifications, and things like that. So tell us a bit about what you do. Tell us about your organization.
Okay, so the City Ranch has been in existence for almost 20 years now.
Okay.
The current ranch that we're on, we've been there for 17 years. And primarily our focus and our mission has been to impact urban youth, at-risk and disconnected youth, and bring a experience to them that's generally not received in our community. And along that way, we found that when you bring the kids out to the ranch, right, and you get them out of the urban environment they're normally in, that defense wall drops so much. And a quote that I received some years back was, without peace, there's no development. And without development, there's no peace.
Wow.
So when people come out to the ranch, I tell them, welcome to my heaven on earth. You
I
know?
love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's a land of healing, you know? And so when it comes to the City Ranch, last year we serviced 16 schools, 2 juvenile facilities, 2 military bases. And we're on a continuum able to bring this experience to the youth. And our big focus point has been to get them out to our actual ranch. Because a lot of people didn't know that we have a ranch. You know, they've seen horses in Baltimore for almost 20 years, and they thought that we kept them inside in the city limits, not knowing that we had a 30-acre ranch on the outskirts near Security Mall.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's local. So I noticed that you even said something about maintaining this nature in a urban setting. Tell us a bit more about your vision with that. I love that.
Yeah, so the vision, especially moving forward, we're looking to scale programs. So we're running some youth mentorship pilots right now, you know, to expand programs and the scalability. And then as of April 1st, will be the first month that we're actually able to receive insurance payments for parents and families that really want to bring the kids out, or adults, first responders that want to do equine therapy. Because as a great man once stated, you know, it's something about the outside of a horse that's good for the inside of a man, you know? So some people come to the ranch, and I know we're going to get into some specifics. Some people don't even necessarily want to ride the horse, they just want to be around the horse. They just want to pet or groom the horse, you know? So I think it offers a lot of different functions, I guess you could say, as far as getting to the horses in that equine experience. But then we also have 18 acres of trails. So if somebody just wants to go walk, you know, I tell people all the time, if you had a long day at work, come to my heaven on earth, man. Make it a place of peace for you as well. I tell people, I love Black Boy Joy. I'll be out in one of our fields with no shoes on, running around, just being happy, unplugging, you know, just grounding ourselves.
Yes,
you know?
yes, and that in itself is therapeutic.
Absolutely.
So before we get more into the organization, the City Ranch, tell us about yourself. Tell us a bit more about yourself and what it is that drew you to and inspired you to get into this work.
Yeah, so I'm the founder of an organization called Puddle for Peace USA.
Puddle for Peace.
Yes, ma'am. Yep. And at the particular time, this is back in 2017, I was working at an investment firm, and I was empty. I was empty. You know, my dad used to always tell me, he said, "What does it profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul?" And I was at a point in life where I was getting, I had developed alopecia from stress. So I'm leaving out of the office. I'm getting steroid shots in my head to stimulate hair growth.
Right.
And I got to a point where I'm like, you know, I'm a man of faith, you know, where I'm like, God, like, what is going on? And something was just like, you gotta change the game. So I had watched these guys ride across the country on this bike, and I gotta be honest, I haven't looked back since. I was about 240 pounds at the time. And
wow.
I was just like, bump it. You know, my hair's coming out, I'm just shaving, you know, just shaving my head, keeping it moving and grooving. And so I got into youth development at that point because I got on this bike and I'd resigned and I'd seen all these kids come up the middle of the street on their bikes doing wheelies. And the same joy that I was seeing on them is how I feel when I go mountain biking. So I'm like, what happens if I get some of these kids and get them out to the mountains? Here we go, a couple years later, I had traveled with the UN. I've been in like 17 different countries with a bike. And my thing was, how do I incentivize the youth through these experiences? Because these experiences had changed my life, you know? And so we started getting the kids out. And then growing up, my aunt had a ranch out in Illinois. And so my family would vacation a lot. My father's military. So we'd be out, every time we go out, we're riding horses. You know, we're doing something together as a family. So I met Mr. Hismakdan, who said that they had a ranch where they're primarily just storing the horses. And I had this bike program. I'm like, well, if you got all this acreage, we can come cut trails.
Right.
So the same young kids that I was dealing with, these boys, I brought them down to the ranch. And these was kids at the time that didn't know a Phillips or a flathead screwdriver, you know? And I'm kind of going back in this so you can kind of hear the healing process, right? They didn't know a flathead to Phillips head screwdriver, that now if you come to the ranch, they've built running sheds for horses.
Wow.
They've fixed foundations to buildings. They fixed the entire fence line on the entire ranch and have groomed trails, you know? And so I'm like, okay, obviously they love it. And when we pull them out of the city, that defense wall of being the tough guy, you know what I mean? It kind of neutralizes that because we take the kids camping, right? So just a quick story. I had this boy, we was out camping one time, 15 years old, peas in the tent. Everybody in the tent, peas in the tent. I'm Steve, and I'm like, bro, why would you pee in the tent? He said, Mr. Kingsley, they was telling scary movies. I wasn't coming out this tent into the dark. and I'm laughing at that perspective because this is somebody, he was hard. You know, I'm tough, I'm doing this, doing that. But you just peed in the tent player because you didn't want to come out in the dark out here. And I'm only saying that to say that when you get them out of this element where they gotta feel so tough and so masculine, that defense wall comes down, you see? And where I was getting at, you know, if you don't have peace, you can't develop. When that defense wall comes down, now I'm able to have a real conversation. You're able to have a real conversation with us. Now I can help you garner peace. After you garner peace, now we're on the healing road because now we're on to developing, you know? So something that we say to the kids is I3. And then what that means is I will overcome, conquer, and achieve, right?
Say that again.
I3. And I had the privilege of doing a TED Talk on that. And what that's about is nourishing, you know, the youth and even ourselves. You know, how do we set, instead of saying setting goals, how do we set outcomes? You know, this is where we're at right now. And this is where we're trying to get to. So let's plan it for the exit strategy, right? And in doing that, you know, I tell the guys, you know, Hub 1 is to rejuvenate, educate, and innovate the minds of urban youth. When we brought them out to the ranch, it was almost like sky's the limit. You know, we took kids that were riding pedal bikes at a point that are now riding horses, that are now learning real trades. You know, they're learning how to be carpenters. If they're into mechanics and riding the dirt bikes, we're teaching them how to work on diesel and regular fuel engines, right? If on our ranch, our horses have to drink water, we have wells. Now we're teaching them plumbing. You see what I mean? On our ranch, things have to be heated and air conditioned. We're able to teach them HVAC. So not only are we able to develop them in the sense of the therapeutic end of it, but now we're able to take that therapy and institute real outcomes for serious change and development as they become adults. And if they're already adults, come feel this peace, you know?
And I love what you just shared. I mean, you're actually demonstrating the efficacy of the program by them learning basic skills. It sounds like they have a mentorship with you, and in learning things that they may have an immediate interest in and learning something new. So how you converted from auto mechanics to going into equine therapy, it is quite a shift because in today's day and age, not many kids go with nature, if you will, or can attach to nature. So that transition itself had to be a pivotal turn for you.
It was pivotal, but it wasn't as difficult as you would think. You wanna know why?
Why? I love that you shared that there are people who can come in and actually find heaven on earth, even if it's like in a quiet space. So you said she was the woman, the 17-year-old woman, that you actually gave her a horse inside of a. Go ahead, share.
Yep. So we have this little like playground area with just like the rubber pellets in it.
Yeah.
That there's no playground in. We took that out because of the liability. All that insurance. But it's a great place where we can not be in the arena. You know, that's right there. And she was really just petting him. She wasn't even really brushing him, but she just wanted to be around a horse.
Right.
And like I said, horses feel that. So I think we had his name is Beamer, was out with her, and he's one of our oldest horses on ranch. He's 34 years old.
Okay.
And
wow.
a lot of people don't even know horses live that long.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's a blessing he's still with us.
What's the general lifespan?
If you can. For a lot of people, they don't even make it to 34. We're trying to push Beamer to 40.
So Beamer is special.
Yeah, we're gonna take care of Beamer. He's been with us for almost the entire duration of the ranch being there, you know.
Yeah.
So we're like, we're not putting him down or something. He's gonna be right here with us.
Hi, Beamer.
Yep. And we just had him in a lesson yesterday. We don't work him a lot, but we just try to get him out to keep him in shape. You know what I mean?
And in this case, in that quiet space, this is exactly what she needed.
Perfect. It was perfect for her. And like I said, he could feel that, right? He could feel the sadness, you know, because sad is different than anger or anxiety or being antsy.
Yeah.
And it was amazing to just sit here and watch him be so calm with her. It was almost like he could sense she needed it, you know? And by the time she got done, she's like, I haven't felt this good in a long time. And I was elated because I was like, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
You know, that's what the city ranch is. That's what it was made
powerful.
for. Absolutely.
That is powerful. You can kind of equate that to people with emotional support animals, except you can't put a horse in your pocket.
Right.
So it's great that you had the city ranch, that it's a space where you can actually get that same kind of therapy, that same kind of exchange and comfort while healing and growing forward, but in that space, in your space. Yeah. So it's attainable.
In our therapy, so we do assessments, and our intro assessment is about the emotional assessment, but also the emotional intelligence of if somebody really knows themselves or how to, like, there's something wrong with me and I know I need therapy, but what is that? You know, do they understand what it is that they're maybe suffering from and what's triggering it, right? Because once we assess and we can get at those things, like I said, now we can get on a pathway to fixing it and healing, as I like to call it. You know, how do we work on a process of healing? Because like you said, grief is hard. You know, I've had kids in the 10 years of doing this, I've lost 2 to gun violence, you know? And the City Ranch, I wouldn't be who I am right now without the healing of City Ranch. And maybe that's what really put me in the position to say, I want the ranch to pivot a lot of our process towards the therapy and the therapeutic riding. Because I had lost one of my best friends to cancer almost instantaneously. He was on dialysis for 19 years, beat cancer 4 times. I mean, we were at the hospital, rung the bell and everything. Came back with a raging force, he was gone in 5 weeks. I was distraught. And you know what I did? I put this 1-person tent in the back of my truck. I camped out at the ranch for like a week straight. I was just doing bonfires and camping out. And by the end of it, it was like I said, I'm a man of faith, so I got to give it to God. It was like God put me in a position to say, Brandt, this is exactly why you need to bring this to everyone else. Because without peace, there's no development. You know, I couldn't have got through that to get to this, to even be here with you right now in this moment, without garnering that peace. To stabilize myself within, right? To give myself the time to be able to grieve. Because of course, that took months to grieve through it. But in that structured period of time, I was able to get to a bottom and say, okay, I can build up from here at least. You know, I'm not still sinking. You know, I'm at my floor. Now I'm ready to work my way up, you know?
What drives you? What's that passion that is keeping you moving forward, and what do you see in the future?
Purpose is more powerful than object. My purpose is to help people live a life more abundantly, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. It's my purpose since I was 16 years old. I knew that God was going to put me in that, and I knew I loved the agricultural sector. I didn't think I'd be in the nonprofit because in my head, I'm like, you know, I wanted to be in agriculture for food. Food is a bulletproof, it's recession proof. You know what I mean? People got to eat. I don't care what the economy's doing. People are not going to start eating.
No, they're not going to stop.
And if you see around the world, when people can't eat, wars start. You see what I mean?
That's right.
So I'm absolutely honored and humbled to be in a position right now where I'm in that agricultural end, but I'm able to help people develop and garner peace. And I'm able to help my community, you know? Because you hear it so often, well, the cops are killing us and this, that, and the third, but we ain't taking care of our own community, then I want to be the change I want to see.
That's right. I love that. Say that again.
Yeah,
be the
real
change.
Talk. I want to be the change I want to see, and I want to show that in my leadership in action. I don't want to just be talking about it. I don't want it to be lip service. No, I've come out here for real.
Yeah.
Like this is for real.
And I see this passion drives you to touch people no matter where they are. So if there is something that you can say to the person right now who's struggling with with emotional regulation, with stress, and trying to find an alternative space to work through this, what is it that you can say to them that, one, your program offers, but two, that you would want to hear in that space?
Ask that from me a different way.
Okay.
I don't think I understood it.
If you were talking to someone just like you, who were sort of when you lost your friend and they were in that space of struggling with their emotions, but they don't know about equine therapy. Right. They don't know that there's an alternative, and they're done talking with people. They don't want to go into an office. They don't want to sit across the table and talk with someone, not in that format. But maybe they, let's just say they have issues with communication. Maybe they don't speak. You work with persons with autism, probably all along the scale, the spectrum. What is it that you can say to them or to the caretaker right now that would connect them to where you are, what your program offers? What is it that you would have wanted to hear in that space that will beeline them into your program?
If I was talking to me, I would say get outside the box.
Outside of the box.
For so long, as a people, we've confined ourselves to this little box of sports and entertainment, right? And historically, I was trying not to get too dirty, but historically, a lot of people will look at the Atlantic slave trade and, us taking care of the farms and sharecroppers and picking cotton and all this. The reason why that was happening is because we already knew how to till the land and manage the agriculture and grow the product. You see what I'm saying? That wasn't taught to us over here. We were doing that in Africa already. You see what I mean? So when it comes to this equine culture, and I'm speaking specifically to black cowboys and an urban demographic and black people, right? Whatever the mind of man conceives and believes it can achieve, right? Without exposure, how can we conceive anything, right? So if you don't know, now you know. Because knowledge is sought after. Healing has to be intentional. Healing doesn't happen accidentally, right?
Yes.
So if I was talking to me, somebody that could be stubborn or overly ambitious or straightforward,
look right in that camera and talk to them.
I would tell you to dare to dream to be the best version of you. Don't make your healing process or your grieving process about anyone else. Because this is your journey, this is your process. A diamond is forged under pressure, period. And if you're willing to go through a little bit of that pressure and to bear that process, your greatness is on the other end. And at City Ranch, we can help you create the peace to get to that development where your blessing is. And purpose is more powerful than object.
Word. Now, how can we reach heaven on earth? Tell us about how we can connect to your program.
So you can find us at thecityranch.org. You can find us on 7613 Dogwood Road. We're a stone throw away from Security Mall. We're called the City Ranch. Just yesterday, I was on a horse up there in that plaza at Rita's. So y'all can come on out. We do trail rides. We teach English and Western riding, and we do the therapeutic end, which is a big pivot for us because we want to help heal the community. Like I said, we want to be an actionable example. The lip service days, those are gone.
Yes.
You see all these wars and things happening. You think anybody gonna care about us if we come over here if we don't care about ourselves? So that's where the development starts. And come on out. It don't cost y'all no money to stop by, to get a tour, to come see something absolutely incredible.
So stop by and say hello. And as of April 1st, again, you are accepting insurance for that. So contact the program and get more information about the,
about the
City
therapeutic
Ranch.
riding. And hey, if you're officers out there, officers, nurses, veterans, I have a first responders program for you because you're suffering from so much burnout from being overworked and underappreciated. My father was a serviceman. My father was in the Army for years. I grew up taking the pins off of his uniforms. I used to get in so much trouble for it. I'd take them off and go to school with them, you know what I mean?
Ooh.
And yeah, I get a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
But it's the love and the appreciation. Thank
Yeah.
you all so much for your service, and we know you're going through it. Please come on out, man. I really got something very special for you. And it's just a break. It's just a break. Like I said, if you had a long day, come take a break, garner some peace if it's only for a couple of minutes. My goal is that you feel better when you leave than when you came.
Yes. Brandt, give us that website one more time.
thecityranch.org.
Thank you, Brandt. Thank you so much for being with us and sharing this not only powerful but effective alternative therapy of equine therapy.
Oh, it's been an honor, Miss Mona.
Yeah, it really has been. I thank you for sharing. What you've shared has impacted my life, and I'm sure it has for the listeners. And we can see the passion through you that has impacted yours. So I know that your reach is going to extend even further from this place on.
One heartbeat, man. We're going to move together, for real.
Yeah, so for conversations such as this, thank you again, Brandt, for being with us today. Brandt Kingsley with the City Ranch, the City Ranch, and located in Maryland. Accessible and at the website that he just shared with you. For more information, continue to stay connected with us. We look forward to hearing more from you. Brandt Kingsley. I'm going to say your whole name just because I think people should. But we look forward to hearing more from you in the future. I'm pretty sure Roberta's house clients will definitely benefit from the services that you offer.
Yeah, well, come on with it. Come on.
Yeah. Thank you. And this is our episode of Real Talk.
Real talk. Thank you.